Scotty Roberts here, and let me tell you, EpicLife Podcast is almost here. March 18th marks the launch of something special, a deep dive into the stories, the experiences, and the mysteries that have taught me lessons and shaped my life over the last 4 decades of adventure and living, which are a mere drop in the bucket of the deep blue motion of the sunlit sea. I'm learning lessons even now, with my throat still having problems, my breathing being a little sketchy, but that's coming back to normal very soon. Epic Life isn't just a show, it's a journey. We'll be diving into ancient history, archaeology, the unexplained, the wild experiences of travel, and the trials and triumphs of family life. We all have those, don't we? And as always, I'll be cutting through the noise, reasoning things out, and getting to the truth. Not just taking what we're told at face value. To give you a taste of what's coming, I've included another short 4-minute throwback clip that was recorded originally on December 22nd of 2021. In it, I talk about how I process belief, not just blindly accepting what sounds good or what fulfills the needs of my socio-political bubble that I live in, but filtering everything through one of 3 lenses: faith, reason, or gnosis. Because if I'm going to believe something, I want to know it, not just be told what to think. That's exactly what the Epic Life Podcast is all about. Exploring, questioning, and making sense of the world through experience and thoughtful reflection. So get ready, Tuesday, March 18th, Patreon, YouTube, and more outlets to be announced will carry the show. And if you want to be part of the conversation, we'll have a live video program, which we still refer to as the Captain's Cabin, every 2 weeks, where you can jump in and be part of the discussion. Epic Life is coming, and trust me, you won't want to miss it. Stay tuned, the adventure starts soon. This is what I do when I come to stories that sound goofy or sound wacky, or I've gone off the deep end, or I talk about this about aliens, or that about Bigfoot, or this about the Bible. If it sounds a little too wacky, I like to personally take a step back and say, look, we are a society that says we believe things because we reason them through and we think them out. Whenever I get to that too much of a fringe element in something I'm talking about, or whenever something seems a bit too wacky, I like to step back from it and say, let's look at this from this angle. Let's examine this myth. Let's examine this story. Let's take a closer look at this fable so we can deuce it out, so to speak. There was a historian of Gnosticism, Giles Kispel, and he was a friend of Carl Jung, who we've mentioned before, who was a contemporary of Freud, once noted that there are 3 major strands of Western culture. There's faith, that's number 1. That's a way of knowing the world and oneself via religious doctrines, themselves dependent upon divine revelation and authoritative creeds of the religious communities. That's faith. The second one is reason. It's a form of knowledge deriving, at least in the West, from Greek philosophy, a logic that relies on this analytic and linear thought, empirical sense data, so to speak. Just the facts, man. And doubt, there's plenty of doubt in that, to arrive at the objective truth of things. And it's in this form of knowledge, of course, that culminated in the scientific method. This is where Richard Feynman said to doubt, he says, that's, to me, that's the way it is. He was an astrophysicist, a contemporary of Oppenheimer and Einstein. Quoted him before. He says, I doubt, and when I doubt, I question. He says, and when I question, he says, well, I kind of think that's the way things are made. That's how we get to our answers, by doubting and questioning. This is what reason is. It's doubting and questioning. And then there was faith, there's reason, and then there's gnosis. We call this knowing something. When I tell people I am a committed agnostic, it means I am committed to gnosis. I don't know nothing. In other words, I have no solid answers for anything until I get philosophical. But that's my reasoning. That's my doubt and my questioning. So gnosis is knowledge. That's the third form. It's a form of intuitive, visionary, or mystical knowledge that privileges the primacy of personal experience and the depths of self over the claims of both faith and reason. Traditionally, in order to acquire some form of liberation or salvation from a world seen as corrupt or fallen. So gnosis, knowledge, is that thing that rises to its primacy in our lives because of our personal experiences, our personal digging things out and reasoning things out. It's the depth of self over the claims of both faith and reason. So those are the three things, those three areas, those major strands of Western culture: faith, reason, and gnosis.